What's up, everyone? Welcome to my first episode of my Untitled live stream. So, if anybody is out there actually watching, please feel free to give me some ideas for show names. So, you're probably wondering who I am. I am Justin from Charm City Autographs. And to my right, maybe your left, depending on your computer screen, is Houston from Chasing the Grass. What's up, man? How you doing?
Good, man. Good. Just got through doing a little card sorting of my own, so this will be a good little break.
Yeah. I've been doing that too, in between NASCAR today. So the first show, though, even though we don't have a name, I did want to talk about something that's near and dear to my heart and probably yours too, minor league baseball, because with the new rules or Rob Manfred's takeover of minor league baseball, I figured you would be a good first guest since we're both affected. So me,
Yeah, definitely.
yeah. I grew up Hagerstown, Maryland. You can see I have my Hagerstown Suns hat, rocking that today. They were one of the 42 minor league baseball teams that were cut this year. And you live down in North Carolina, and your home team, I don't know how close they are to you, but the Burlington Royals,
Yeah,
they
the Burlington Royals, they were 6 minutes if you hit every stoplight on the way there, so not far at all.
oh, really? Yeah.
Yeah,
So the Burlington Royals were your hometown team. Their fate, the fate that they suffered, was a little bit better than the Suns. They no longer exist, but the Burlington Royals were. They were originally in the Appalachian League, and they are still going to be in the Appalachian League.
correct. Yeah. It's
That
still the Appalachian League, and I think, if I'm not mistaken, it's the same amount of teams. I'm not sure.
But all of the teams in the Appy League have undergone a rebrand because they are not affiliated with minor league. Well, they're not affiliated with parent clubs this year.
Exactly.
So they're independent, but they still fall under the MLB umbrella because part of their takeover is that they become a draft league, basically.
Yeah.
For
Wood bat.
yeah.
Is a good
So
term.
have they announced if it's going to be college or high school players?
I do believe it's going to be college players. It's going to be what they've been referring to as a lot as a collegiate wood bat league. So it's kind of that in between college yet professional kind of a setting. And I know the Burlington Royals, they would play a team as an exhibition game before each season started with the Kernersville Bulldogs, which was a collegiate wood bat team. It just seems like just that one just rung down from a what would be a professional level.
Gotcha. Okay. But I guess one of the good things about the new rebranding of the Appy League is that all the teams have rebranded, and the Burlington team, their rebrand was pretty awesome.
Yeah, and it's about as PC and about as kid friendly, family friendly, just the fun name as you can get. And people are still upset by it. People are still, tweeting at them, commenting on their Facebook posts, and just like ready to, bring the mob. But what they decided to go with was the Burlington sock puppets.
Yeah. And at first, when I seen it, I didn't know what to think, but I mean, it's pretty fun. And a lot of the hate that I seen was that, so the mascots are two socks, but one of the socks has a stirrup, and fans want more stirrups.
It's just something that it's like one of those weird phenomena that the stirrups got to be in there.
Yeah. But I mean, that's when you do a rebrand, you want people to talk about it. And I definitely think they accomplished that goal. And if you don't follow them on Twitter, I forget what their Twitter handle, if it's changed. It was, I think, at Burlington Baseball. but
Yeah.
they have one of the better social media crews, because I know when their future was up in the air, uh, every Sunday during NFL games, they would run a discount where the longest completed field goal, whatever yardage that was your discount.
Yeah.
So I scored a sweet Burlington Royals hat for, I think it was like 47% off, because that was the longest field goal of the night. And it's pretty cool. And they still have the same social media folks, and it was pretty good. Yeah, they're really good. And then some of the other teams, well, Burlington, they were the first team to announce their rebrand in the Appy League, and I think they set the bar really high, because I've not the I guess crap on the other teams in the Appy League, but some of them weren't, really as fun as
Yeah.
that. So they definitely set the bar high. I'm excited to see what their jerseys look like. I haven't seen those yet.
I haven't either, and I know they're 96 days away now, I think, from opening day, and they haven't said anything. I don't know if they plan on revealing the jersey beforehand or not. So it's going to be definitely interesting to see if they just play off the two sock puppets they have there, or if they do it a little bit different on the front end or the back, which I can't imagine them throwing anything on the back. But after you name your sock puppets, I guess anything's on the table.
Yeah, right. So the title of this episode was the changes for the minor league season, 2021 minor league season. So I wanted to go over some of those changes. Well, the first thing is now MLB owns everything. And I think me and you share the same level of hatred for Rob Manfred. So
That's a good way to put it, definitely.
yeah. So part of the changes were that the players are getting a salary increase, which that sounds all well and good, and people think that, oh well, now that they got rid of 42 minor league baseball teams, they can afford to pay the players more. But what people don't realize is Major League Baseball controlled the salaries of the players anyway. So
exactly.
they chose to pay the players. They chose not to pay the players a living wage. So now they've I just did some quick math, and the 42 teams that they cut. So each roster is a 25-man roster. Then you say five coaches, hitting coach, pitching coach, bench coach, manager, and the strength and conditioning coach. So if you do 30 times 42, that is 1,260 jobs that are just gone.
Yep.
So where are these people supposed to go? But one of the other things that I forget what Manfred's calling it. It's like the one baseball umbrella or something, whatever the monopoly is that he's trying to create. So there's four independent leagues. We have the American Association, the Atlantic League, the Frontier League, and the Pioneer League. Most people probably have heard of the Pioneer League. That was a short season league that was up in the, I guess you would call it the Northwest, in Montana, Idaho, Utah, those places. And now those states don't have any professional. Well, some of them still have professional baseball, but Montana, no more professional baseball. You have the partner leagues.
Yeah. So
the players and the coaches could go there, but I just thought it was lack of a better term, crappy that in a pandemic, first you went an entire year without being able to earn a living, and the players weren't allowed to collect unemployment benefits because their season, MLB didn't technically cancel the season until I think June for minor
Yeah.
league baseball. So the guys they couldn't do anything, and then so you go a year without working. They had to find part-time jobs if they could,
If they,
and then come 2021, you think you're going to have a job, and then at the beginning of the year, boom, we're getting rid of a little under 1,300 jobs.
yeah, and that was I've always been pretty much like on the fence about Rob Manfred, especially what he's some of the things he's implemented in MLB. I don't think they've necessarily hurt the game, but I think it's definitely taken away some, something from it. But just the way he kind of sat on his hands and the way he handled the whole, the axing of certain teams and then the restructuring of other teams, and there was teams that are AAA that are now, single A, and
Mm-hmm.
it could have been timed better, and it could have been a little bit better on his part the way he went about the whole thing. And I just don't think that it benefited a lot of people to wait as long as he did to come out, because I think it was rumored for a while that it was going to happen, and we were all like, for lack of, it's kind of like watching the Titanic. We all know what's going to
Yeah.
happen. Wait till the last 10 minutes of the 3.5 hour movie to bring on the water.
Yeah.
And we all like, we know what's going to happen, so let's just get the ball rolling so we can kind of see where we all stand as fans, and probably even more so as players, is what's going to go down.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he definitely left a lot of people in limbo, and I don't know how. I mean, I don't work in MLB, so I don't know how long he has been envisioning this, for lack of a better term, takeover of minor league baseball. But it was rumored last year. So what really upset me is, so you're talking about it last year, right? But there's no baseball being played. But these minor league teams still went ahead with ordering their promotions, like the bobbleheads, the specialty jerseys, all these things that they're planning a year in advance, right? And then to go ahead and cut it, just it really rubbed me the wrong way that give he didn't give the fans a chance to say goodbye,
Yeah.
Because I mean, who would have known at the end of the 2019 season that that's the last time you're going to see the Burlington Royals? That's the last time you're going to see the Hagerstown Suns ever take the field. And I just thought it was I'm trying to keep it PG, but it was just so tone deaf of him to do that. So why not say, okay, here's what we have planned for 2022, but 2021 we're going to give you a chance to make a pitch, to show us why you deserve to have minor league franchise. Because one of the improvements that they said for this year, sorry, I have notes all over the place, but one of the improvements was modernized facility standards better suited for professional athletes. But what they did is they cut a majority of the teams that were cut were high A and lower. So those facilities are normally, not as up to date as other facilities, or they may not have the amenities.
And it's funny you say that, because in 2018, in the off season, right before the 2019 season, the Burlington Royals updated their stadium just absolutely phenomenally, and it had been the same ever since I could remember going in the 90s when they were the Burlington Indians, the Cleveland affiliate, and it would just, they might paint something here and there every few years, but nothing was ever revamped, nothing was ever redone. And then in the 2019 season, we got kind of spoiled with new bleachers. There was better bathroom facilities, concession stands were better, and it had just much more of a major league baseball team feel to it.
Mm-hmm.
And then you find out in 2020 there's no baseball, and then you find out that there may not even be a baseball team in Burlington. So it's just like they spent, I think it was around 1.7 million to renovate everything in the stadium just to play for 1 year. And it was just one of those things. It's like, this can't exactly, I mean, this is like a joke almost, where a team or whatever spends that much money to revamp their stadium to play one season, and then the thought of that baseball field and stadium just sitting there for years vacant with nothing going on, it was just like almost a joke the way that everything went down.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And so in Hagerstown, the stadium, it was horrible. Honestly, it was the third oldest stadium in minor league baseball. I think it was built in 1930, and there was always talks that the team was going to leave because I think so when the Suns became a team in 1981, they were an Orioles affiliate. Then they went to the Blue Jays, then the Giants, and then there was like 2 years they were the Mets affiliate,
Mhm.
and they finally had a decent working relationship with the Washington Nationals. So you kind of seen it that the writing was on the wall that they were going to leave because it's every 2 to 4 years that they would do the player development contracts. And it was always like the Suns were the last team that got picked. And but another thing that Manfred did with so the player development contracts used to be 2 or 4 years. Now the teams had to sign a 10-year contract. And one of the other interesting facts is if the team owner decides to sell his team, MLB gets 5% of that.
So they're just they're
Yeah,
getting
yeah, yeah. It just makes me angry. One of the other things I wanted to talk about. So you still have the Appy League, but have you seen what they want to call the new leagues now? So like AAA used to be the Pacific Coast League, International League, but that is gone. There's no more of that. There's no more South Atlantic League, the league that the Suns were in. It's like in the stroke of a pen, Rob Manfred has just erased the last almost 40 years of my childhood because there's no more South Atlantic League. So it's I have to look it up, but it's like low A Southeast League, and I'm sure that they're going to end up here in the coming months. It'll be sponsored by someone, so it'll be the low A Ortho Weed Eater League or something like it's a NASCAR race.
Yeah, and the leagues, the league names that they're going with, and what they have so far, as of I think it was like just a few days ago, either they pay somebody a lot of money to not use their brain at all because no one strained any muscles thinking of these new league names. Because if I can't think of exactly what it is, but I think one of the AAA leagues is like AAA West and like AAA Pacific or something like that. And I'm like, this is the best somebody could come up with.
Yeah,
but like you said, I think they're just waiting. Maybe they're just trying to gather some sponsors or something like that.
So the AAA, the new names are AAA West and AAA East.
Yeah,
So
yeah. I mean, no one's strained a muscle thinking of that name at all.
no, it just kills me that all of that history over 100 years of minor league history is gone, and I don't know. It it just aggravates me that that baseball isn't going to be in my hometown anymore. Because I don't know how you feel about it, but there's no reason anybody would ever go to Hagerstown, Maryland. Honestly, there's an interstate that runs through it, so somebody might have to stop to get gas, or we have an outlet mall that's really popular, but nobody like it. It kind of, well, for me personally, I can't speak for a lot of people in Hagerstown because they only drew like 800 people a game. So me and 799 other people Yeah, and my buddy, MPB card guy said, but it's the hub city. And so that's what Hagerstown is known as, the hub city. And my high school, we were known as the Hubs.
The Hubs.
Yeah, so how the hell do you make that a mascot? A hub. Like you just come out with a bunch of hubcaps on, like you're LARPing or something. But it gave me something to be proud of because I could actually show somebody on a map where I'm from. Because I could say, like, look, right here's Hagerstown, and we have a minor league baseball team, And so me and you were both big into baseball cards. And one of the cool things, I don't know why this happened a lot, but a lot of card companies would use their pictures in Hagerstown. They would take their pictures in Hagerstown. So that was like one of the cool things that I would try to PC is go through the minor league cards, and I could pick out what cards were shot in Hagerstown because it's really a shitty stadium, so it's easy to pick it out, right? Because I know there's this one picture. It's the Upper Deck set. Minor league set, and it's former Yankee Brandon Clausen. I think he was in the Drew Henson trade, and he ended up going to the Reds. But he's pitching in a bullpen, and the paint in the background is just all peeling off and everything. And I was like, "That's Hagerstown. I've been in that bullpen. I know it." And then, sorry. The dog is like barking right now, and he wants to come inside. So sorry. All right, come in. So sorry. Anyway,
you'll probably hear my cat in a minute wanting to bust in, so don't worry.
Oh, okay, cool. So, like I was saying, with that Upper Deck set, one of my favorite all-time cards. I think I've showed this to you, the Josh Hamilton card, right? Yep. So that is taken in Hagerstown, and why this is my favorite card is this building right here. That building right there, that is Washington County Hospital. That is where I was born, and that hospital doesn't exist anymore.
That's sick.
Yeah, so that when I seen that, that's just something that's pretty cool. And then if you look real closely, you can see over here that there's an advertisement for Tony's Pizza. That place still exists. It still exists. And it just sucks that the hospital that I was born in, no more. I think it's a parking lot. And now that stadium's probably going to get torn down too. So no more Sally League, no more Municipal Stadium, no more Hagerstown Suns. And I understand that baseball is a business, but with those almost 1,300 baseball jobs that were cut, you got to think about like the game day staff too. Yeah.
And I can actually speak to that minor league salary a little bit because a few years ago, my wife was working at K Jewelers in Alamance Crossing, and she called me one day and she was like, "Dude, the Royals have a game tonight." And I said, "Yeah, they're playing." I think I can't remember who it was at the time. I want to say it was the Pulaski Mariners. I think I could be wrong though.
Okay.
And she was like, okay. She was like, a bus just pulled in the parking lot, and she's like, there's a ton of baseball players walking around, and a couple of them actually went into K Jewelers, and she's talking to them, trying to get them to buy a ring, a watch, or anything. Yeah. She's like, they're baseball players. I'm sure they've got money. So anyway. And I don't even really know if I should say his name because I'm going about to put out some salary. But she actually was like, "Do you know this player's name?" And I was like, "Oh my God. Like, I absolutely know that player. He played for the Rangers and he was extremely popular back in the day." And she's like, "Oh, well, his son came in looking at a watch and filled out a credit app." And she was like, "He doesn't make near as much money as I think he would or you would." And so I was like, "What's his salary?" And for the rookie league, Appalachian League, and I'm sure, there's like contracts and all that, and each player is different. But this gentleman was making about $2,800 a month.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And when you put that on top of, I know you have to play, or I know the players have to pay, I guess it's the clubhouse manager to get all their gear together. And I think it kind of depends on how much that clubhouse person does for you, depends on how much you tip them. But once you factor in $2,800 and all that, I mean, it's really not a lot of money. So it's like if this guy was making $2,800 a month, then with this new proposed raise these players are getting, is it going to go to 3 grand a month, or is it going to go to like 10 grand a month? That's something that interests me as well.
Yeah, so they haven't released the actual dollar amount, but they said that the salaries would go up from 38% to 72%. And yes, you probably hear crunching in the background. That is my dog. He has decided to finally eat. The food has been out since 5 o'clock this morning, and he's deciding to eat right now. So
Fed the cat right before this in hopes that he would be pretty quiet.
yeah, well, I put the food there, and he refuses to eat. He's been moody lately, but yeah. So $2,800, depending on where you're at, too. That could be a quarter of your salary is going to an apartment. You know, and that's why you get these minor league guys that it's a 2-bedroom apartment and there's 4 or 5 dudes in there, because you have to pay your clubhouse dues, then you have to pay your rent, and then you still got to eat, right? So what are you going to do unless you're living with a first round draft pick that got a huge signing bonus?
Yeah. And I mean, it's also the other, $2,800 on top of your clubhouse dues and paying rent, and you're not taking the team bus everywhere, so you've got your own car to think about, and then you got your obviously potential car payment there and gas and everything, and it's just, and I think the increase in salary will kind of depends on, with it being 76%. I guess it's kind of, they would have to elaborate it on a little bit more, but if the current players are getting paid a little bit more, I would definitely feel about 2% better about everything. But
Yeah.
it's definitely not gonna alleviate the just absolute just like disgust I have for the way this has all went down. And for Burlington, I'm not sure what he did exactly. It hasn't been printed, or no one has come out and said, but it was one guy, and the Burlington Police Department actually recognized him. It wasn't in any newspapers, and I think the Royals posted about him months and months ago. But it was one guy that saved baseball in Burlington, and I don't know what the guy did, but I'd love to just like shake his hand and take him out to dinner and just like absolutely thank him for keeping baseball in Burlington. I don't know what he did, if he was a councilman or if he's part of some athletic department somewhere or something. But it was one older gentleman, middle aged, that kept baseball in Burlington.
Wow, that's pretty awesome. He should definitely have season tickets for life.
Definitely.
There's kind of a similar situation with Hagerstown. They haven't saved baseball, but they have an invitation to join the Atlantic League, which is independent baseball. But one of the stipulations is a new stadium, which, I mean, my entire
so long.
yeah, and as long as I can remember, they have been trying to get a stadium built in Hagerstown, but the people, I don't know, there's really not that much interest in the site surveys that they do. They spend all this money on site surveys, and then nothing ends up happening, But I honestly don't ever see any type, even independent baseball. I don't ever see it coming back to Hagerstown, and that really sucks. Because where I live, you can see the little star. That's actually where Hagerstown is, and compared to Maryland, it's pretty small. So it's close to Pennsylvania to the north and West Virginia to the southwest. And with this new realignment, we went from having a baseball team 15 minutes away from us to the closest affiliated team is about an hour and a half now, and that's the Bowie Bay Sox. So my parents they're probably, that's who goes to the games, is my parents. So they're probably going to end up going up to Pennsylvania to Harrisburg to see the Senators play, because they have season tickets to them. But then even this year, it's not going to be, they're like me, they like to get autographs, or at least they tell me that they do. But the players aren't signing autographs this year. So just like I was talking to somebody earlier on Twitter today, all the years I've lived in Arizona, a total of about 8 years, this is the first year I'm not going to a spring training game, because fans aren't allowed at the practices, and the players are instructed not to sign autographs. So yeah,
to me, that's kind of a slippery slope, because I fully understand it given where we're at. I really do. But then I've already seen people getting TTM successes from spring training players.
Yeah.
It's only been about 5 or 6, but the players signing through the mail, which obviously there's no person-to-person contact. You're not kind of accidentally touching hands or bumping hands, in that kind of aspect. But they're just, as much as stuff gets passed through the mail, you got to think there's the risk there to, I guess, contract something or accidentally. It would.
Yeah.
It's like, to me, it's like 6 of one, half dozen of another kind of a thing.
Yeah, yeah. So we did get another comment from MPB Card Guy. Thank you for watching and commenting. I greatly appreciate it. So he said they wouldn't build a new stadium for an Orioles or Nats affiliate, but they expect them to build one for an indie team. So my understanding is, from what I have read, I'm one of those weird people that still reads a newspaper, even though I do it online. So it's not like I get the Hagerstown paper sent here. But there's an oil company out there called Ewing Oil. I'm not sure if it's local or more up and down the East Coast, but I think he's like the CEO. He basically bought the Hagerstown Suns, and he's putting up money for a new stadium. It's nowhere near enough for a stadium, because even to compete now for a regular minor league stadium, it's in the hundreds of millions of dollars. And I think he put up like 10 million just for the Suns. And so they would be in the Atlantic League, and one of the teams in the Atlantic League is the York Revolution. They're in York, Pennsylvania, and they've been around for, I would say, about 10 years, and they're independent, but they sell out every game, and that stadium is amazing. It's one of the most beautiful stadiums I've ever seen, and that's just for a team that isn't affiliated. So, I mean, for Hagerstown to actually get anything, I mean, they got to blow it out of the water, and they can't do it with the stadium that they have now. They just don't have the space. And I mentioned before, it was the third oldest stadium in the minor leagues, but one of the other, I guess, classic ballparks is in Reading, Pennsylvania. I don't even know if they're even the AA affiliate of the Phillies anymore, but the Reading Fighting Phils.
Yeah.
That stadium, as old as it is, you would never even know it, man. They built like a boardwalk out in left and right field, and it's amazing. I haven't been there in a while, but even back then, you still couldn't even tell how old it was. So
the Royals, it was, I don't know what prompted them to do the renovations they did, but it was long overdue. And even going like in the 90s and stuff like that, it was just, even when obviously nobody knew they were going to be as big as they were when they were there, but like when Bartolo Colon was playing with them, and then Manny Ramirez came through there, even then it's like on any given day you could go in there and basically run back and forth and not hit anybody. The attendance wasn't there. And I think that somewhere deep down inside, that after years and years of attendance being down, and I mean, on a given home game, unless it was like Thursday, there'd be less than 200 people there. And I think that somehow they thought that the renovation would bring the crowd.
Mm-hmm.
And I hate to say it, but even that one 2019 when we did get the fully renovated stadium, even the attendance just wasn't there. And I mean, they tried. You got to definitely give them, props for trying or whatever. But I think they were kind of trying to put a Band-Aid on a bullet wound with the renovation. But it was long overdue. It definitely was.
Well, at least they showed that they were trying to make that upgrade. So. But anyway, I wanted to do like 30, 45 minutes episode, not to drag it out. So I think we did pretty good this episode. I still don't know what to talk about next week. Everybody's pretty excited that spring training has started today. But there's been plenty of fake baseball that's being played overseas that I'm excited about and other people are. So maybe we could get some of those fans on and help broaden people's horizons and send some of that money away from MLB and to other leagues that are exciting and doesn't alienate their fans and doesn't have blackouts. Doesn't charge half a paycheck just to subscribe to their channel, and then they don't let you watch half the games. But so thanks for coming on, Houston. I hope you had fun. I definitely enjoyed this. Next time I will lock the dog up so he doesn't have dinner in the middle of the show. Maybe your cat can make an appearance next week. So
we'll get Winston on for some Tim Kirchin kind of advice.
There you go. Yeah, they kind of have that same high pitch too.
Yeah. I'm definitely down for another episode, and this is a lot better than me trying to film something with my crappy laptop and then spend 3 days uploading it to YouTube.
Yeah, definitely, man. Hopefully, fingers crossed, this goes automatically to YouTube, so I can't edit to save my life. So yeah. So thanks, Houston. I'll see you next week, and thanks everybody for commenting and watching. I greatly appreciate it. Thank you all.
Yes, sir.